Topic of the day is past simple and past continuous. Starting with past simple. When do we use it? We use it to talk about situations and actions that started and finished in the past. The past simple of the verb to be. So the verb I am, how it goes to the past simple. How do we do it? Affirmative, negative, and question form. Affirmative form. It will become I was. I was cold. You were happy. He was in the garden. She was late. It was rainy. We were on holiday. They were hungry. So, I, he, she, it will use the was, whereas you, we, they will use were. Let's go to negative. What we do is just add not after was. I was not, or not after were. I were not. I weren't. I was not. I weren't. I wasn't sleepy. You weren't on the bus. He wasn't at school. She wasn't angry. It wasn't cold. We weren't at work. They weren't tired. Question form. Was or were goes in the beginning of the sentence. Was I sleepy? Were you late? Was he or she at the cinema? Was it hot? Were we hungry? Were they at work? And the answer will be yes, I was, no, I wasn't, or yes, you were, no, you weren't. What about the rest of the verbs? We just saw the verb to be, I am, becomes I was. Now let's see the other verbs, every other verb. Positive form. I, or you, or he, or she, or it, or we, or they. So all the subjects will take the same verb. It doesn't change at any of them. I wrote an email to the manager. She wrote an email to the manager. We wrote an email to the manager. So it's very easy. You don't need to remember a rule here. Just the verb will change depending if it's regular or irregular. Regular verbs will take ed, irregular will change. The negative form, the same, we just add not after did. I didn't write an email to the manager. In this case, the verb write will go to the present tense because we are using the auxiliary do. Here in the past, did. So, I didn't write an email to the manager. She didn't write an email to the manager. And so on. The question form, did will go in the beginning, then the subject, and then the verb in the present form. Did you write an email to the manager? The answer will be with yes or no. Yes, he did, or yes, she did, or no, he didn't, or no, she didn't. If the question is like for more information, then it will be like this. When did he buy the car, the new car? He bought the new car last week. The same thing, but you have to use in the answer now information, not just yes or no. Time expressions used in the past simple form are in and the year. Doesn't matter what year, it must be in the past, of course. In 2002, for example. Yesterday, last week, 10 months ago, 1 day ago, when she was 3, etc., etc. Let's see the past continuous. We use the past continuous to describe actions in progress at a time in the past. The action started before that time and continued after that time. Example, at that time, in June 2005, Anne was writing her first book. But we can use them also together, past simple and past continuous in one sentence. So sometimes we use them together by using the words when, while, and as. When he was working on the project, the telephone rang. The telephone rang while he was working on the project. As he was working on the project, the telephone rang. As you can see, when he was working on the project is one of the part of the sentence. It is in the past continuous. The telephone rang is in the past tense. Let's see the affirmative of past continuous form. It will be formed by using was or were plus the present participle in ing. I was sleeping when John arrived. She was sleeping when John arrived. We were sleeping when John arrived. They were sleeping when John arrived. So I, he, she, it will use was plus the verb and ing. You, we, they will use were plus the verb in ing. The negative form of the past continuous. I wasn't sleeping when John arrived. He, she, or it wasn't sleeping when John arrived. You or we or they weren't sleeping when John arrived. Just have to add not after was or were. And the question form. The where or when or why, it's optional. It depends on the question. If there is, you can say, where were you sleeping when John arrived? The answer will ask you have to say some information about this if you have a question word in front, in the beginning of the question. If not, you can answer directly with yes or no. Were you sleeping when John arrived? Was I sleeping when John arrived? Yes, I was. No, I wasn't. Were they sleeping when John arrived? Yes, they were. No, they weren't. So depending if there is a question word in front, you have to say information. If there is no, you say directly yes or no, and answer will be with was or wasn't.